Sattler Files.
Yes, welcome back to the Sattler Files. And this is Law and Order with Inspector Neil Royle. Faithfully turns up here every week and we discuss all things crime, punishment, misdemeanours, you name it.
Topical stuff that people are talking about.
It is always topical. Yeah. We always remain topical, don't we, Neil?
We do indeed. And here I am again on air with another lady. It's one after the other around here, isn't it?
Oh, yes, we give you a cavalcade of presenters so you don't get bored with one. We give you another one.
Who's it this week, I wonder? Oh, it's Despene, how lovely.
It's me.
So there's lots going on, eh?
There certainly is, and I think top of mind at the moment, if you live in Western Australia or even if you just live in Australia, it would have to be the Kalgoorlie court riots.
Wow. Yep.
Tell me, as a copper, as an ex-copper, as a former copper, what do you think is going on?
Lots of footage on the news last night about it. I suppose my initial reaction was that the police weren't really actually doing enough to stand there and be pelted with bottles and so forth and all the rest. Yeah, but
it's been going on. It went on all day.
Indeed.
So the footage you may have seen may not be indicative of exactly what was happening at the time.
True. Of course,
our friends in television do have a way of editing things, don't they?
Yeah, so they pick out the commissioned officer standing up there in full uniform while they're pelting bottles and stuff at him, and he's just ducking for cover and finally leaves. But you know, the whole scenario is, of course, the allegation.
Yes, let's get back to the crime. Let's get back to the real issue here.
It's the unfortunate death of a 14-year-old Aboriginal boy whilst he's riding what is alleged to have been a stolen dirt bike.
Right.
The allegation is...
Well, they're dangerous anyway.
Well, yeah, and that'll be a perfect defence for this guy, I would suggest. But getting back to what's happened, so the guy who's supposedly had his bike pinched is allegedly chases this young kid, and at the end of the day, the 14-year-old boy ends up dead. So the police have charged this guy with manslaughter. So obviously they've got enough. They reckon that he's either hit the kid with his car or forced him to do various things.
I mean, that man did not take his car out that night with the sole purpose of killing somebody.
You wouldn't have thought so.
How does that become willful murder? You know, it couldn't be murder.
No, and that's why the police are charged with manslaughter. And of course, this guy, he'll plead not guilty, obviously. And part of the defence, I would think, would be the fact that you've got a 14-year-old kid who's obviously unlicensed, untrained, and whatever on a motorbike.
And for cultural reasons, we won't name the boy.
Nope, but it may be the case that the kid got in the way of the car rather than the car hit the kid. Who knows? And that's what's
we weren't there.
No. But as it happens, the people of the community the kid came from are up in arms in Kalgoorlie and stormed the courthouse, marched down the street.
Because the offender or the alleged offender was going to be appearing in court.
Yep. And the bottom line wasn't the shock and horror about this child being run over or being killed, whatever it is, or the inaction of the police, or none of those things. It was they're upset and distressed and outraged that he's only been charged with manslaughter. Mm. And that is the bottom line for them all. They weren't even charged with murder. Mm. And so what do? Jumping on police cars and they
pelting rocks.
Yeah, and they break the windows of the courthouse and run riot situations, all on a par with what you expect to see in colourful downtown Mississippi or something other currently on the news in America.
Is that part of the issue? Do you think people have been watching too much television and too many crime shows and they get these ideas in their head?
Yep. And I think, and for them, and blatantly and stand up there brazenly chucking rocks and bottles and things at authority, and the riot police got called up there and shields.
Did they arrest any of the protesters?
3.
Only 3?
3 got arrested.
Out of that crowd?
Out of 200 plus, whatever it was, 3. And, I'm a couple of years out of the job there, but had it been me standing up there trying to maintain law and order there and someone's pelting things at me, I would have left no stone unturned to wade through the crowd and grab that person by the scruff of the neck. Not duck down and go, well, stop, please stop. Get in and grab a few.
So what are the riot squad wearing to protect themselves? Talk me through that. How much protection have they got?
Oh, they wear the full shields. That's sort of neck-to-knee shields that they carry, which they can get behind. Helmets, of course, with back of the neck protection, face visors on the helmets. They wear shin guards like in cricket
True.
Like cricket pads, elbow guards too sometimes. Certainly they'd have a baton each and all their other accoutrements.
There's certainly they'd be prepared for all emergencies.
Oh yeah, that's why they're called riot police.
That's true. I mean, how many riot police were there in Kalgoorlie to start with, or did they have to bring in reinforcements?
It went on all day, I think, didn't it? This
it
caper
did go
until
on all day.
It came to the end of the day when the riot police were involved. So whether or not each of those districts, so you couldn't rely on 800 kilometres away from Perth to send up a crew.
Unless you sent them up in a chopper.
True. And you want a fixed-wing aircraft because you want more than 3, and you won't fit more than 3 in a helicopter with the crew. So one would expect that the district would have their own people trained up, and they draw from 2 from each police station or wherever it is, and they draw from them for the guys who are trained in civil unrest. And I think they use their own, but if not, well, I couldn't count how many there were, but they'd have to have 20. If there's a 200 strong crowd, you don't want 3. So you need weight of numbers is very important, and that's where rioters and those sort of people get ultra cocky when they do have weight of numbers. And that's why
they would have had in the beginning of the day.
Absolutely,
because who would have? This is unprecedented. I mean, no one would have expected that kind of outcry. Or, mind you, you're a very cynical old copper.
True.
You would have probably worked out that there was going to be something on the fly, something on the wing.
Absolutely. And I don't know how much had to be telegraphed to the police to know this was going to happen. So whether they put police vehicles across the gates at the courthouse, well, all it did was then the rioters jump on top of the police vehicles, smash the windows in the police cars and all the rest of that.
I saw that. People standing on the car.
Yeah, and I only ever saw a couple of coppers bleeding. I certainly saw the commissioned officer getting pelted with bottles and ducking for cover. I do believe a 14-year-old Aboriginal girl was making a very, very passionate plea to the crowd to knock it off, calm down, settle down. And
was she the one standing on top of the car?
I'm not too sure, but she's getting plenty of accolade from all and sundry on both sides.
What upset me is that there were mothers with children in prams there.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you put your children in such harm's way?
And when it started, when they're pushing and shoving, why would you stay?
Well, you
take your kids out of there for a start.
Get your kids out.
Let the rock-throwing yahoos and all the rest of it do their bit. And the retaliation that I saw, because certainly the media will be keen to show retaliation by the police. Now, people getting whacked with batons and so forth as they do. I just saw a couple of bods being pepper sprayed.
But I mean, the boy's family didn't want this to happen.
No.
They were begging for the crowd to stop.
Yep. And talk about jumping the gun. I mean, it hasn't been to court yet. No. And they had to remove this guy. I mean,
if the man gets off with a good behaviour bond, then that's the time. That's the time to start.
Then they'll burn Kalgoorlie down. No doubt. So, because they had to remove him to Perth for his own safety, that's wonderful. And he'll appear in court via video link today from Perth. So, talk about jumping the gun. He's only been charged. He hasn't even had his say yet, or it all just gathered momentum of what they believe has happened.
There's no evidence in yet.
Nothing. Not to happen yet. It'll be the court reporters will do their bits and pieces when it goes to trial. It won't go to trial for Yonks because he'll plead not guilty straight up.
Well, he's not going to cop a manslaughter charge or a murder charge.
Nope. So, and what happens then? I'll be keen to see what the bench does. Do they let him go to bail? Or do they remain him in custody?
I don't know whether he's safer in or out.
Is he put him in protective custody, or what are they going to do? Or it's only a matter of time before, if people dislike him that much, they'll come from Kalgoorlie to here, no doubt whatever. So it's a disgraceful situation where, and I don't know what it is that people think they can, and they are a minority group, take over the issues of law and order because they don't like something or other and just wreck the joint.
And get caught up in that mass hysteria too.
Yep. And again, I say, out of all that there, if the cops only saw fit to arrest 3, well, they've missed the boat a bit. What message is that sending? For the other 120 of you who were throwing rocks and smashing them, you're lucky you got off. But say they arrested 3. And I'm dying to know what those 3 charges were. Otherwise, the police are real keen these days to issue move-on notices. That's supposed to get rid of the person from where the issue is.
But then they might start off somewhere down around the corner.
What message does it send? You've been bad, so move on.
Just move on. Go home. Pack up your toys and go home.
I'll be bad somewhere else after I do move on. But if I come back here, I'll get arrested. Unbelievable. Come on,
It
coppers,
is.
do a bit.
It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
So we shall see from that.
Yeah, we shall see, and it won't be anytime soon. So but we'll keep an eye on this on the Sattler Files.
Oh, this won't go away early.
No, it won't
There's
go
lots
away.
in this. There's lots in this.
Yep.
So, and who's to say, this fellow may have well sprung this person pinching his bike, who knows, or saw it riding around, and then I'm loath to say sometimes the police are pretty slow on the uptake and getting onto things, and people get frustrated and fed up. That
With the system.
That's right, that this might be the 6th, 7th, who knows how many times he's had motorbikes pinched from his, and he's had enough. And they snap. The old fuse burns down and kabang. And I can associate and identify with those sorts of things.
You would have seen this in your career.
Absolutely.
You would have seen it so many times. Because
And I know of cases where we know certain things have happened, we know certain offenders have done things, but haven't got the right amount of evidence. And because there's not enough evidence, and that's what the police have to work on, they seem to be doing nothing because...
Which is incredibly frustrating
absolutely,
for the victim. Yeah.
Especially if we use the term an irresistible inference, that we know it's him, we know it's that guy, he did this and so forth.
I love that line, irresistible inference.
But it's not proof,
No,
and it's not evidence.
No.
And people are saying, well, too bad, the cops are sitting on their hands here, I'll do something.
Okay, well, let's move on because
Is there a happier note anywhere else?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to talk about? Well, this is a happy note, really. The 4 men that were charged over the alleged import of, wait for it, $45 million worth of meth into Western Australia. We have a huge meth problem here.
Yes. And they know that if you're going to import some and you're facing serious jail time if you get caught, make sure what you do is a big bit.
You're going to do it big. You're not going to get caught for a small amount.
Nope.
You might as well get caught for the whole kit and caboodle. In this instance, what did they do? They put it inside timber logs.
They did indeed. And
gee, they're clever, some of them, aren't
well,
they?
they've done it inside the tubeless frames on baby prams and on deck chairs and all sorts of things. So now they
soap bars, you name it.
absolutely 45.6 kilograms of methamphetamine.
That's one heck of a lot.
That's right. And if it's 45.6 kilograms, and the pundits are saying it's worth 45 million, so it's $1 million per kilogram, is it?
Must be.
Phew.
Must
So,
be. But that just goes to show how much it's doctored and interfered with by the time it actually gets to the druggie, because it's been cut down with so many other things.
Yep. This one came from Africa, arrived in Perth in June. So the AFP and the local police had obviously an undercover job going. 106 packages.
With a tip. Obviously had a tip off.
Oh, yeah. So you got to wonder. I know there are paid informants within the system who get paid to tell the coppers.
So that's not just what happens on television then.
No, there's
We really do have paid informants,
sure
do we?
Sure do. And we pay them money to give us info.
Is the money good? I could find myself a sideline business.
I think from memory, I think they pay on the value of the information.
On the value of the information.
So one would expect if someone come along and says, "Hi, I'm Jim Spriggs, a crook," go knock on the detective's door and say,
no offence to any Jim Spriggs listening.
Are there any Jim? There would be a Jim Spriggs, I suppose. Sorry, Jim.
I'm sure there is. Let's begin.
Is there a Joe Blow?
Joe Blow might be a better name to use.
So if Joe Blow's out there, he knocks on the door, the detective says, "Hey, you guys, I can put you on to 45.6 kilograms of methamphetamine if you're interested."
If you're interested.
Yeah.
And what's in it for me?
That's right. What's it worth?
And what's it worth?
And they'd be tripping over themselves.
Well, I mean, it's a significant amount of the evil drug to be taken off the streets, which would have ended up on the street.
Absolutely.
And
So
God knows how many more lives it would ruin.
Yeah, and a container full of wood. A container full of wood. I wonder what sort of wood it was that makes it so important you'd import it from Africa. I wonder what it was. It didn't say what it was, but
well, that's what I don't understand. I mean, when you import something like that, we're so
we've got a bit of wood here, haven't we?
Yeah, we have got a bit of wood, but we're so cautious and worried about bringing things in that might have little bugs on them. I would say a container full of wood would set off a search anyway.
It would too, and it just looking at the photographs of the wood in
that. You can't even bring in food on a plane. You can't take the food off the plane.
Nope.
And bring it into the country. So how would they think they could get wood in here, or timber, I should say?
And it looks like to me like scungy old second-hand cut in halves railway sleepers. or something. It's not even that. It doesn't look like a big flash bunch of teak or anything else. It's just a whole swag of wood, which on X-ray and forensic examination was seen to be full of things inside that weren't wood. Yoo-hoo! And a couple of guys from Baldivis now looking down the barrel.
Oh, what do you reckon they'll get?
Well, it's got to be jail time for that man.
I should think so.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They could be looking down the barrel 10 years.
That's still not enough.
Well,
that's not enough when you think of what that drug can do.
Exactly. And had it been in colourful downtown Bali,
you'd be on death row.
You'd end up with an extra navel. You really would. They put you up against a wall and say, do you want a cigarette? And a blindfold, and that's the end of you. So, yes, they know, well, they might get, who knows, it'd be interesting to see. But by the time this gets to court, and there'd be that many other things that have happened since then, you put, which one's that again? Who were they? What are they?
Which hall was that?
What was that for again? And,
yes.
And you lose track of where they are. But, Michelle Fife's right in what she says. It's good that the cops got it before the users did.
Absolutely.
And the understatement of the year had the potential to do immense harm in the community.
Well, on this program, on the Sattler Files, we've interviewed a number of people about the crystal meth situation, from mothers who have been through it with their children, right through to people who are running rehab facilities.
Yep.
It is a huge problem in Perth. A very big problem in Bunbury, but a big problem in Perth
too. It is indeed. So if you step from that to another yarn that's going on, and you asked about those two that were arrested after a big high-speed chase from Scarborough to South Perth, which is a reasonable sort of chase.
That's no mean feat. That's
Not
a long distance. I mean, that's how many... I don't want to put you on the spot now, Neil, but how many kilometres is that?
They will be going backwards and forwards and retrace themselves and scooting across here and scooting across here. That's a long trek across town through, and you can tell from how long it took, how far they were going. And when you consider they're in a Volkswagen Golf, so they're hardly in an E-Type Jag or something, they're in a Volkswagen.
Oh, I used to have a Volkswagen Golf.
Sorry.
No, a Volkswagen Golf's a bit more powerful than the old VW Beetle thing.
They?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They went through City Beach, Scarborough, Floreat, Jollymont, Subiaco, West Perth, South Perth and Como.
All of this at great speed?
As great a speed as you can get being in the metropolitan area. The coppers used stingers on two occasions, once in Floreat, once in Perth, but it carried on. So I'd say that...
and then, of course, they jump out of the car and attempt to run away.
Yep, and they tried to stop a couple of passing motorists in Canning Highway, trying to hijack their cars, which is wonderful, which again we say when you drive your motor cars, keep your doors locked. Keep your doors locked.
Yeah, no, keep your doors locked. I had an incident only a couple of weeks ago where I had my window open, stopped at a crosswalk to let somebody walk across the crosswalk, and instead he stuck his head in the car window and abused me.
Wonderful. And you went fast enough on the electric windows to put it up, to keep his head in there.
I was so stunned, I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. So I will never, ever drive again without everything locked, ship-shape and tight.
Absolutely. So these two jumped out, tried to get a couple of cars off Canning Highway, couldn't do, ran around the place. Police helicopters on the spot and looking at them all the way, and they ended up getting grabbed by the detectives in Como. So they got
good for them.
So the question I asked, why are they getting away from the police? It doesn't say. Are they obviously they're up to no good?
Well, they could have had an unregistered car. They could have been unlicensed.
Oh, heaven forbid!
But what did they say? When police saw and attempted to pull over the car in City Beach on Tuesday, the driver sped off, and that initiated the pursuit.
Yep.
So it was a traffic infringement.
Unless they wanted him for something else, or they're on the lookout for them.
Or they were looking for the vehicle.
Yeah,
so it was a stolen vehicle, wasn't it?
It was. They stole the Volkswagen.
Stole the Volkswagen
during a burglary in Floreat on Monday morning.
So they were looking for the car.
I'd say it'd be on the list.
Yeah,
and it's come up on the computer because they with their scanning capacity and computers in the cars, they just scan number plates all the time.
So yeah,
and it just pops up, whip, a little green band, and just doesn't say what it's for, just as a vehicle of interest, or the person's in it's a person's of interest. But where would you be? So for that amount of police involvement and the amount of area covered, you've got to wonder, is it just the Volkswagen? What else? what's in it.
There was a lot, because sometimes they just call those pursuits off when it becomes
So they have to. They're obliged to. Yeah.
They have to. They didn't call this one off. They were determined to get their guys.
Yeah, so I think something else. There's more here than meets the eye, I believe.
It'll all come to light eventually.
Well, they're in court next Wednesday, so we might even hear about it while we're on air. They'll probably give us a ring and tell us.
They might. We'll get someone down at the court to get one of our court reporters to phone in with the story.
What a good idea. We'll do that. We'll do that.
We'll do that.
Good.
Now, moving along, everybody's talking, or anyone in the southern suburbs is talking about fireworks for Australia Day.
Yes.
And the Fremantle Council's decision to not go ahead and not have fireworks. And you can tell me the reason.
I can tell you the reason.
Why have they decided to do this?
I can tell you the reason. Because the council have decided that the full council, mind you, Fremantle, they binned the Australia Day fireworks for being too expensive.
Well, it is expensive.
Well, yeah. And offensive to Indigenous people.
Now, that's the bit I don't get.
Well, there is a
they always play Watha Yindi. I mean,
well, it's exactly right. There's a heavy lobby that says that it isn't Australia Day. It's
Invasion Day.
Oh,
this story.
Spare me this.
This is going to go on for years.
So you have a situation now where 2.5 million they're estimating that the local business community from Fremantle will lose.
Well, when you get a mass of people all gathering in Fremantle, they're there for hours. They're going to use all the amenities. They're going to buy things from the shops.
Well,
they're going to have the vending machines. I mean, it's such a fun day. I mean, why are they taking the fun out of life?
And all the hotels are booked out there because people go stay the nights in the hotel so they can watch it all from there. And then
it's a wonderful thing.
Exactly.
It's a great family thing. The kids love it. I mean, the Perth City Council I have to say, are superior. They are wonderful. But if you don't want to be in the city with the crowd, Fremantle's a better option.
Absolutely.
So they've taken that choice away now.
Yep. So the worry that is concerned is, well, Brad Pettit is the mayor of Fremantle there, fine young fellow that he is. At an informal briefing, Brad Pettit told the Chamber of Representatives he hadn't considered there'd be a major effect on businesses.
Why would he have not considered?
Surely. Good grief. You know, everything from the hospitality to the food outlets to the charter boat companies and all those things, suddenly there's 50,000 people not going to Fremantle.
Yes.
They'll go somewhere else to spend their dollars.
Or not go at all.
Well, will the city of Perth follow suit, do you think? Or are they as sensitive as the city of Fremantle?
I think the city of Perth have realised, that obviously, which is something that Brad Pettit, the Fremantle mayor hasn't considered, and that is the business that it brings to the town and to the city. So I can't see Lisa Scafidi or the Perth City Council ever wanting to get rid of the fireworks.
Well, the Coburn Council, they contribute to, they call it Cracker Night in Fremantle, don't they?
Yeah, Cracker Night, Firecracker Night.
Yeah, they call it Cracker Night. It's the Coburn Council, they chuck in 25,000 to the crackers, and they're saying, well, okay, Fremantle, if you ain't going to do it, we'll do our own. And that's what will probably happen.
And they'll all go down to Coburn.
Yeah, exactly. So Logan Howlett, he's reckoned that they would survive, and he said they'll make a final decision in October. So they've got plenty of time. We're talking about January.
We are talking about the 26th of January. I mean, it is a fair way off.
So it might...
but even so, I would imagine that these things still need to be planned with plenty of time. I'm surprised that he has the audacity or he has the ability to cancel it. These things are usually planned out from like the day after the last one.
Absolutely, I know. And it's,
you think it's September and how has he got the power to stop it?
Oh, well, there you go. And one would think that the local business people would be knocking on his door.
Oh, they'll be doing more than knocking on his door.
Well, and it's food off the table for these people. They rely, it's not like it's America's Cup all over again with these people.
There's not that much going on
in
Fremantle.
Not much goes on in Freo.
Fremantle's got very quiet, and they need every bit of help and promotion they can possibly get.
Well, in past months, the highlight for the Fremantle week was to go down and watch the Dockers train, but That's not going to happen anymore this
No.
year. So saying I'm getting all misty
So
now. Hang on.
you're going to miss Murray because I'm not going to engage in a football
know you're not, you never
conversation.
do.
I never do.
I know.
So I'm sorry about that.
Okay, you sound real sorry. Thanks very much. So I've got over that now, and I've moved on.
Along. Okay.
So yes, there's more here, and there'll be more about this in time to come. Wait and see.
Wait and see. Let's wait and see. Before we go, we have to talk about North Korea.
Lucky you don't live in North Korea and have the bad manners to fall asleep at Kim Jong-un.
The man fell asleep in a meeting.
How dare he? So this, what he's done. This the boss there, Kim Jong-un, decided that Ri Yong-jin, who's a boss in the education ministry, made a bit of an error by nodding off as his glorious leader was speaking. So he incurred the wrath of Kim for
Not
doing so.
someone you'd want to cross.
No, and he ordered his execution for being so bad as to nod off, but did it in a different sort of way.
I mean, this was no bit of cyanide in your drink.
No, this
was full on execution,
and
not even a blindfold and a cigarette.
No, he ordered his execution.
Tell me how they did it.
They did it with an anti-aircraft gun.
Oh my God!
To
kill two human beings of flesh and blood. Would it really need? I hate to say this, but wasn't that overkill?
Ha! That's a good line. We'll put it this way: there won't be much left to bury. So they decided that they would execute these guys with an anti-aircraft gun, and they actually did.
I would imagine the no-dose sales in North Korea have skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, there'd be
caffeine.
The caffeine sales be going through the roof up there.
On another note, on a note closer to home, did you watch Sky News last night? They had some footage of Darren Hinch on his first day sitting in Parliament, and he was asleep.
Oh no.
He was asleep.
Oh no! I mean, I can't blame him.
Mind
That
you,
obviously
unless
too,
it was an opportunistic photograph where he was
photo,
only blinking.
Yeah, it's a still
But
photo.
but believe me, he looked like he was asleep.
Oh.
So do you think Malcolm Turnbull's going to get the anti-aircraft?
Well, I tell you what, there's an anti-aircraft gun, and the mind boggles when you think of the magnitude of bad enough having the guy executed for falling asleep at a meeting, but as a matter of fact, it's still an anti-aircraft gun. They all be
Well, you
walking around
wouldn't see it coming. It'd be that quick.
Well, exactly. You wouldn't. You'd be that. You need to be really close too, I would suggest, because it fires a rather large projectile, and.
Come on, let's get gruesome. How big would the wound be?
Anti-aircraft. Well, take your biggest 2.5 litre or 3 litre Coca-Cola bottle, plastic one, and sort of double that in size. And
shoot that at high velocity.
And you want to make sure you're out in a paddock someplace, because it's going to, once it hits this person, it's not going to just go boom and that's it. It's going to keep going.
So there's going to be an exit wound.
Absolutely.
Exit wound.
Good grief.
That's an understatement.
Absolutely. So if you want to send a message to the others, well, what's next? He's going to nuke the next one or something, is he? What a nutcase. Absolute nutcase.
He's crazy.
And
over time, the world has always been governed by some crazy people at different times in history.
The terrifying part about it is he's in charge of lots and lots and lots and lots of them.
He has so many listening to him. And I tell you what, they're all going to be listening a lot harder now.
I'm asking questions afterwards.
There'll be no questions afterwards. And
so watch it, Hinchy.
Heaven forbid.
Yep.
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid.
There you go.
Neil Royle.
There you go.
Law and Order.
We've touched on a few things today.
We certainly have.
Some of us has annoyed us, and some of us has amazed us, and lots of it still astounds us. So as we go on, it just rolls in day after day. Something new, something more outrageous. And
I'll wait till next week when we can do it all again.
And we'll talk about something else equally exciting.
Because something else will pop up, I'm sure. Neil Royle, thank you so much for joining me on the
My
Sattler
pleasure, Despene. Same bat time, same bat channel.
You've been listening to Law and Order. This is the Sattler Files. Back shortly with more.
This is the Sattler Files.